Good morning, welcome back to week 7 of Mr. Bletcher Homeschool. We're back on Monday. Apologies for no episode on Friday. I was a little bit unwell, but I'm back, I'm healthy, I'm all good and ready to do some teaching today. So, today what have we got in store for you? Well, we've got some early bird maths as usual. We've got maths, we've got some letter writing. We're going to carry on with letter writing. We've got some Premier League spelling to show you, a little game that I've been playing that I'd like you to have a go at as well. And then we've got a bit of art, some mosaic designs that could include Lego to use at home. So, big day today, lots to get on with. Let's get into it. Time for some shout outs now. And first of all, we're going to start with Isabel's work. It's a wonderful poem about endangered species and koala bears. Take a look at that image as well. It looks absolutely fantastic. So a big well done to Isabel. Wonderful work. Next up, we have work from Matilda. She did Mrs. Lynch's tutorial and has produced a wonderful sketch of a lion. And Matilda, you should be so proud of this work. It looks absolutely brilliant and there is a clear amount of care that has gone into that. Next up, we have Dylan. Dylan had great fun on the Hour of Code website, making his own game. He provided a wonderful explanation and will be sure to include your video, Dylan, in another future episode. Finally, we have a wonderful solar system made by Jessica. This is absolutely outstanding. Take a look at that. All the different planets, a spaceship, and the sun even lights up. This absolutely blew my mind. Great job, Jessica. Now, you can see that we've presented shout-outs a little bit differently because you don't want to see my face, you want to see your wonderful work. So we will have shout-outs back daily from here on in, something we're all really looking forward to. So send in your work at the usual places. On to our maths work now, and some of you will be pleased to know that angles is finished. You've done an excellent job with that. Some of you will miss it though. If you're honest with yourself, you enjoyed those angles, didn't you? You had lots of fun with those. Anyway, we're now moving on to data. What do I mean by data? Now, not mobile data and your access to the internet on your phone. I mean data as in information and how data can be represented. So, when we think about data, we think about graphs, things like that. And later on in the week, I'll be showing you some data, some YouTube data. As a popular million subscriber YouTubers such as myself, YouTube send me graphs about viewership time, about how many views a video gets, how many views a video gets in its first hour of being uploaded. It's actually really interesting data. They give us other data such as how many subscribers watch, how many people that aren't subscribers watch, and if you're not a subscriber and you're watching, come on, give us a subscribe. Anyway, all this data I find really interesting and it's presented in a variety of ways. So we're going to have a go today at sort of creating and finding our own data in the home. And we're going to do this by sorting out that sock drawer that you grown-ups have been banging on about. Look, all your odd socks all over the place. Come on, let's get them together. Well, we're going to sort through your odd socks, we're going to pair them all up and we're going to get some data. Because as a group of individuals, we're going to find the following data. We want to find out how many of each colour sock you have. Now, your data might be a little bit different to mine. I don't have any pink socks, okay? Nobody bought me any pink socks for Christmas. Okay, that's the reason why. But what I do have is black, white, blue and yellow socks. Okay, so I've been through my sock drawer and I'm going to create a tally. I have 6 pairs of black socks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait a minute. I hear you over there at home thinking, no, that's not right, Mr. Bletcher, you're doing something wrong. And you're absolutely right. We don't just keep on counting and counting and counting, because if our tally looked like that, look at all these lines. I don't know how many lines that is. That would be a pain in the backside to count. So what we actually do is when we create a tally, it goes in groups of 5. So I said I had 6 pairs of black socks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's easier to count now because I can see a 5 straight away and one more. 5 and 1 is 6. So I know That's 6 rather than having to count each individual part. I have 12 pairs of black socks, so white socks rather. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I can see that really easy. 5, 10, 11, 12. Okay. So, can you draw your own table today? Go through your sock drawer, sort out all them odds and put them together. Okay. Go through the sock drawer and tally up the different colour socks you have. Okay. Then, by the end, you'll have a beautifully drawn tally chart. Okay. Now, with this tally chart, these need to be straight lines. It needs to look presentable, because the whole thing about data, if it doesn't look presentable, it becomes hard to read. So we want really neat handwriting. We want beautifully drawn straight lines using a what? A ruler. Yes, a ruler. Okay, and then create your tally. Keep this safe. We're going to need this data for the rest of the week. Right, time for literacy, and like I said before, we're going to carry on with our letter writing. Some of you have carried on with it anyway and produced wonderful letters, so well done if you've already done that. What we're going to move on to is the closing paragraph. The closing paragraph sort of rounds up your ideas and maybe asks the person you're sending a letter to a few questions that they can respond to. Because it tends to be the last few parts of a letter as of things that as a reader we remember the most, so it's a good chance to ask questions. So remember, we're writing a letter to our future self, and what would be a good idea is that when you finish your letter today, maybe place it in an envelope, and then in the envelope, write a date. Maybe the first week in September, a date in October or November. On that date, that is the date when your future self is allowed to open it, read it up, read it, and find out what you wrote about. Maybe it will bring back those memories. So, once you've finished your closing paragraph today, make sure all of the paragraphs we wrote throughout last week all go together in your neatest handwriting so that it all looks fantastic. Now, I've already had a go at writing my closing paragraph, and here's what it looks like. So, my closing paragraph says, "Anyway, Mr. Bletcher, a mustache. Carlos needs feeding. Before I go, I have a few questions. What was your first day back at school like? How are things different? And, most importantly, what did you have for your lunch today?" Now, that's a question, so it needs a question mark, and I forgot that. "Kind regards, Mr. Bletcher from the past." So, your final paragraph may be 3 or 4 sentences. Okay, include those questions, because it will then give you an opportunity, if you want to write to your future self again, and answering the old questions and asking your future self even more. So you've almost got a really creative diary where you're having a constant monologue running through. So there's my example. Have a go at your own and then combine it and tie it up with your other paragraphs. Then it will be absolutely brilliant. So this is a cool Premier League website we'd like you to try, and I'm picking through my club. We've got Burnley, Chelsea, Crystal Palace, Everton, Leicester no, Liverpool no, Man City no. Well, we need Sheffield Wednesday on this, but they're not in the Premier League yet. Oh, we're not having Sheffield United, no way. Tell you what, let's go Spurs. Let's go with Spurs. We'll be Spurs to do some spelling with Spurs. How about that? Right, choose your player. So there's lots of different choices. So when you have a go, choose a player. Just any player will do for you. I'm going to choose this girl here. She looks like she'll do a wonderful job at spelling. So we select the difficulty. I'm going to go for Superstar because I want to play in the stadium. I'm going to test myself with spelling and see how I do. Well, we've got 20 questions on level 1. And I'm doing a press conference with my fellow Spurs players there, saying how I'm hopefully going to do a good job in the match today. And then we've got Dele Alli, son and Harry Kane having a warm-up. Feel free to have a little join in with that warm-up. A few star jumps, a few squats. Keep you fit. A little running on the spot. So, the practice. This teaches you how to shoot, because I had a little bit of trouble with this. I thought you swiped at the ball, which is what I did on this first one. But you don't swipe. You have to hold the ball in position. You have to almost pull your finger back, hold it right. Because I tried to swipe here, and look what happened. Rubbish. So, you hold your finger back, take a look at the trajectory, where that line is pointing to, and then aim for the spelling that you think is correct. So it says, cheer on your team. I think that's the correct spelling of team. And I scored a goal. Well done. Well done, me. Right, kick off. Try and get 5 right. It's not always easy though. It's Tottenham versus Leicester City. And we have a face. What does that describe? Pick the word that describes the image. I think it's weary, but how do we spell weary? I think W-E-A-R-Y. And it's a goal. We got it correct. Next up, that looks like disappointment. But disappointment's difficult to spell. Is it 1 S? Is it 2 P's? I'm going to give it a go. See how I do. What am I going to go for? Aiming. I'm clearly thinking about this. I'm going to go there. Is it 1 P? Is it oh, no. Can't be that. He saved it. Kasper Schmeichel saves it for Leicester City. Now there's a giraffe. Giraffe. Tricky spelling. How do we do it? Is it 1 R? Is it 2 Fs? There it is. Top bins. Goal for Mr. Bletcher. Ooh. Looks delicious. Oh, we need to get that spelling of delicious right now. You also need to aim properly. Now, I seem to have missed that, but I know my spelling was correct there. So you've got to be focusing on your aiming too. How many syllables in the word stadium? Stadium, that's 3. So you've got to get the question right, but you've got to aim properly as well. So, nice one. Try again. 3 out of 5. We didn't win the match, so we've got to try again. So we're going to give it another go. Let's see if we can score all of our 5 penalties in this cup tie with Leicester City. Now, weary. This is one we did well at last time. It might be in a different position. Yes, it is. It's the bottom corner. Aim. Well done. Well done, me. Super. Special. This is one of our spellings that we've looked at before. Special is the best way of trying to remember that. Excuse me. Got it in again. The Something England squad has been announced. So use the correct word in the correct context. I'm going to go with official. The correct word in the correct context. And it scores a goal. That's 3. Come on. 2 more to go in level 1. This football shirt is precious to me. But how do we spell precious? I think it's with a C. Something that sh sound. And I'm right. Look at Kasper Schmeichel on the floor. He's rubbish. Pick the word that describes this image. That's an ambulance. But look carefully because there's slight differences on the spellings. So I'm going to go top corner on the right for the goal against Leicester. And they've done it. 5 goals. The Tottenham Hotspur. Success. Success. Spurs don't have much success, to be fair to them. So is all of them correct, and I can proceed to the next level. So the link is below. Give it a go yourselves. See how far you get. There's so many more levels to play. I just played the first one. A bit of history and art now, as we look at the sort of artwork of Roman times and the artwork that is still prevalent in Britain today that the Romans brought with them. So we're going to look at Roman mosaics, and I will show you a few examples of Roman mosaics as well, and give you a few ideas of what you could do today when you design your own. But first of all, let's take a look at a few facts. So each mosaic piece was stuck to the floor with mortar as a type of cement. They would show pictures of everyday Roman life, so they depict images, and it actually was great for us historians to look at those and tell us more about how the Romans lived. Mosaics were made up of thousands of tiny stones, thousands and thousands. So those that would create mosaics weren't seen as artists as such, they were seen as almost craftsmen because they had to work with so many tiny little stones to make that image. And finally, they were waterproof and easy to clean. And this made them very popular at Roman bathhouses to decorate those beautiful bathhouses that we still see in the town of Bath today. Now, that's a few facts. What I want you to have a go at is have a go at making your own mosaic today that could depict an area of your life. You might want to make a self-portrait, you might want to make something else. Here's a few tips for you. The image that you're making out of a mosaic, maybe it's a good idea to sketch it before. A light sketch, nothing too detailed, that will help you with placing your little pieces of paper or coloured paper today. You also might want to have a picture of what you are making in your mosaic. So you might want to take a picture, maybe on a phone, and then constantly look at that picture when working out where the different colours are. Another tip is to think about shades of a colour. To make something really stand out, use different shades. So maybe different shades of green or blue or red to make it look like that wonderful piece of artwork. Finally, if you maybe don't have coloured paper that would be easy to use, you could always colour in bits of paper. That could work. So maybe if you just got white paper, do a little bit of colouring of the paper and stick those bits down. Or I've seen some other wonderful ideas of using Lego. So you might want to use Lego. So what you're about to see now is more examples of Roman mosaics and some examples of Lego mosaics as well. Take a look at the designs, see what captures your imagination, and then we'd love you to send in your work at the usual places. So give it a go.
Mr. Bletcher's been on since lockdown, teaching us things so we don't feel down. Mr. Bletcher and his online homeschool. He's teaching all subjects so we're up to date. He knows if he does this then we'll all be great. Mr. Bletcher and his online homeschool. Kids are all watching and eager to learn. We love Mr. Bletcher, he's making it fun. Mr. Bletcher and his online homeschool.